The wait is almost over. Seahawks football is finally back this week. And on this edition of Seattle Seahawks Today, we will run through every single Seahawks game of the 2024 campaign and give you my final record prediction. A lot has changed since we last did an official record prediction for your Seahawks with the addition of Connor Williams, along with a couple of other players. So we wanted to give you one last look at how we think this season is going to shape out for Seattle coming up in just a matter of moments. Before we do that, though, folks, I want to know, do you want the Seahawks to win the Super Bowl? I've been told if we get 1,000 likes on today's video, that helps the Seahawks' chances. And you may be saying, that sounds ridiculous, Tyler. But why would you even chance it, folks? Don't jinx it. Just do your part. Like today's video. Let's get 1,000 likes and begin the run to the Super Bowl right here on Seahawks Today. And we'll get started with today's show. Week 1, the Seahawks open against the Denver Broncos. Bo Nix has been named the starting quarterback for Denver. And personally, I'm not a big fan of Bo Nix. I know he's had a good training camp and preseason, but I think that he's going to be in for a struggle, that the Seahawks defense is going to have a field day against Bo Nix in that Week 1 opener. And I'm excited to see the offense, too, with JSN and Tyler Lockett, DK, with Kenneth Walker, those guys getting involved with Geno Smith, getting to see this Ryan Grubb offense in live regular season action for the first time. I think that they're going to impress and get a win Week 1. Week 2, you take on the New England Patriots. Jacoby Brissett has been named the starter for the Patriots, not Drake May. And right now, barring something happening, an injury or Brissett struggling, whatever it may be, in all likelihood it will be Brissett in that Week 2 game. But New England's got one of the worst rosters, I think, in the entire league. I think the Seahawks should be just fine Week 2. Then Week 3, you take on the Miami Dolphins. And now we're starting to see this team cook a bit. A 3-0 start to begin the year. That high-powered Dolphins offensive attack with Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, the newly paid Tua there. It'll be a shootout, but I expect the Seahawks defense to be the difference in this one. Then Week 4, Monday Night Football against the Detroit Lions on the road in Detroit. That's where I see the first loss of the season coming. That Detroit team coming off an NFC Championship game appearance. We've seen some really good games the last couple of years between the Seahawks and the Lions, where the Seahawks won 2 straight trips to Detroit, but this time I think Detroit gets the best of Seattle. Week 5, you take on the New York Football Giants, who are just not a very good football team at all. The Seahawks have won 2 straight against New York. And Daniel Jones, I'll take Geno any day over Daniel Jones. I think that Seattle's going to be just fine in that one there. So we're off to a 4-1 start to begin the campaign, which would be a very good start to the Mike McDonald era in Seattle. What do you guys think the Seahawks record's going to be? Week 6, you take on the San Francisco 49ers at home, and I think that's a win for Seattle. I don't know what this San Francisco 49ers team is going to be out of the gates with everything that's gone on this offseason with the Brandon Ayuk situation. They do have a deal done, though. Trent Williams wanting to get paid, and just all the discomfort, the dysfunction that's going on in San Francisco. I think that's a good time for Seattle to get San Fran Week 6 and get a home win there in prime time. Week 7, tough turnaround. One tough matchup after another. I think they lose to Atlanta. I think the Falcons are the most improved team in the NFL this year. I like the addition of Cousins. I also like bringing in Matthew Judon on the defensive side of the ball, which they did within the last couple of weeks. I think that's a loss. Then you take on the Buffalo Bills Week 8, and I think that's another loss for the Seahawks. Josh Allen, one of the best quarterbacks in the National Football League. I know that Bills team has some question marks. They lost a lot from last year, but it's hard to bet against Josh Allen. Week 9, your first of 2 matchups against the LA Rams, and I know that the Rams have had their way with Seattle as of late, but this one I think the Seahawks get the best of the LA Rams, take care of business there Week 9 with a win. And then you have a bye Week 10. Week 11, you take on the Niners again. And this is where the Seahawks end up losing. I have them losing to the San Francisco 49ers on the road. They split the season series, and realistically, I think you would take a split with San Fran if you can with one game apiece. Will the Seahawks win the NFC West? Is this the year that they break through and win the division, or will it be San Fran or LA or even Arizona for that matter? Weigh in the comment section. Get your predictions in now. Are we talking playoffs? Let us know. Y for yes, N for no. Today's show is sponsored by Game Time. Game Time is the place to go for last-minute tickets, the best seats, the lowest prices guaranteed. Whether you're talking tickets for sporting events, concerts, theater productions, comedy shows, and more, Game Time's got it all. Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. They have this new thing called Super Deals. If you stumble upon a super deal like I did for the USC-LSU game this past weekend in Vegas, then you can't pass up on it. They have the events listed with the prices. You choose your seat, see if you like that seat or not, and then you're checking out on Game Time with Apple Pay, Google Pay, Venmo, all major credit card providers. Your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game Time. The link is in the comments and the description of today's video. Week 12, you take on the Arizona Cardinals at home, and I think the Cardinals are just not going to be a good football team. I know they bring in Marvin Harrison Jr., Kyler Murray should be healthy, but a lot of questions remain there in Arizona. Then you take on the New York Jets in MetLife. Will Aaron Rodgers be healthy at this point in the season? I think that's a big question mark, but nonetheless, I think the Jets are going to be an improved team. That's a tough road trip to go all the way out to East Rutherford. I'll give the Jets the win there. You face the Cardinals again week 14. I think it's another win. You sweep the season series with Arizona. And then you play the Packers in a primetime game on Sunday Night Football, week 15 at home. That's a loss. I think the Packers are going to be a contending team. Wouldn't surprise me if they're in the Super Bowl. What game are you most excited about this season? We've gone through most of them. Still have a few more left to go. What game catches your eye? Chime in. Let us know in the comment section what that game is for the Seattle Seahawks. Our last batch of games here. Let's go to Week 16 against the Minnesota Vikings. We will not see J.J. McCarthy. He's out for the season. Will not play his rookie campaign. It will be Sam Darnold. That Vikings team, I think, is going to be pretty bad this year. That's an easy win at home. Then you take on the Bears on Thursday Night Football, the day after Christmas. Caleb Williams, his first full season. That Bears defense is very suspect. I like the offense, but the defense has got some major holes. I think you win there. And then Week 18 at the Rams. I think the Rams ultimately get that win, and you split the season series. The Rams would probably need that to get into the postseason potentially there. And so all in all, what is my final record? 10-7 for the Seattle Seahawks. Now, let me say this with the 10-7 record here for Seattle. This would be, I think, a very successful season. The number one objective and goal for Mike McDonald in his first year is to get back into the playoffs, something this team didn't do a year ago. Coming off back-to-back 9-8 seasons. Remember, the reason why they moved on from Pete Carroll last year was that this team underachieved, not getting to the postseason. You have an even better team from what you did last year. There's no reason to think why you can't improve upon that. And I think this as well. I said in my previous record prediction back in April when the schedule came out, I had this team at about 9-8. Connor Williams, I think, is worth at least one win. That's the difference he makes on that offensive line as one of the best interior offensive linemen in football, top 5 center, and really just helps out that offensive line so much. I think 10 wins is within reach for the Seahawks here. Who is the Seahawks' toughest matchup? We've gone through every game. Now your chance to tell us what you think that is. Weigh in, let us know what the matchup is that stands out to you. So let's go through some of these marquee games one by one. The Broncos game is interesting. The Seahawks opened up with Denver a couple of years ago, and that's when Russell Wilson made his return. The Seahawks pulled off that win, and I think that was one of the most historic wins in franchise history that people are going to be talking about for many years to come. Now this Broncos team looks a lot different than what they were last year, but facing a rookie quarterback in Bo Nix, what a tough task for him to head to Lumen Field for his first start there. I think Seattle's going to be ready to go. The Dolphins game is very intriguing to me with Tua, with Waddle, with Tyreek Hill. I mean, all those weapons. This secondary is going to be tested in this game. I'm looking for Rick Wallen, Devin Witherspoon. What are those guys going to do facing this Miami Dolphins offense? Can they get enough stops? Can they create enough turnovers? That'll be the key. The game against the Detroit Lions. The Lions riding the momentum from last year, getting to the NFC Championship. But the Seahawks have had their number as of late. A primetime game on Monday Night Football. Joe Buck, the Hall of Famer Troy Aikman on the call. Big stage for Seattle. And this will be kind of the national debut for Mike Macdonald with their first primetime game of the year. Week 6 against San Francisco. As I said earlier, I think you get the Niners in a good spot for that Week 6 game there at home. And you're just hoping if you can split the season series, if you can get one of the two, then I think you're feeling great. And this is a great opportunity, I think, in that Week 6 game. Week 7, tough turnaround, facing Atlanta after facing San Francisco. And when you look at that Atlanta team, the thing that everybody was so upset with the Falcons, especially fantasy owners, was that they didn't use Bijan Robinson and Kyle Pitts effectively, especially Bijan Robinson. If I'm the Seahawks, if I'm Mike Macdonald, I'm looking to do whatever it takes to take away Bijan Robinson. We've seen what the Seahawks have done to invest in the run defense, which has been their biggest problem the last 3 seasons, with bringing in Byron Murphy and bringing in Jonathan Hankins, along with the other guys that are still there. If they can take away Bijan Robinson, watch out. The game against the Bills, man, anytime you're facing an elite quarterback like Josh Allen, it is going to be a tough matchup. But think about this. What has been Josh Allen's biggest weakness since he's been in the National Football League? It's been turnovers, turning the football over too much. And if the Seahawks can create those turnovers, if they can get an extra possession or two, we'll see what they could do here. The game against the Rams, Week 9, I think that, and you could say this for pretty much anybody in the NFL, but I think especially for the Rams. The Rams have had some bad luck when it comes to injuries over the years, and I really wonder who's going to be out there Week 9, let alone Week 18 when they face off again. But Stafford there, is Kupp there, and also what's this Rams team going to look like without Aaron Donald now? Remember, it's not going to be just one guy replacing Aaron Donald. It's going to take a collective effort to do so. Week 11 at San Francisco, tough game there. You face them Week 6, then you face them again Week 11, a road contest for that one. And what we've seen typically the last few years with the Niners is that when they get to the second half of the year, they start to really turn things up a notch. Where's that Niners team going to be at? Are they going to be putting their best foot forward as they get another week closer to the playoffs? I think that matchup's much tougher than that Week 6 matchup. Week 13 against the Jets, against Aaron Rodgers, Garrett Wilson, those players. And what about the Hassan Reddick situation? Is Hassan Reddick playing for the Jets by then, or is he with somebody else? That, to me, is a very fascinating development. And Robert Saleh, the jury's still out on him. He's still got a lot to prove as their head coach. Is he coaching for his job, or are they potentially contending for a division title? A lot unknown for that Week 13 game. Week 15 against Green Bay. Jordan Love coming off a very good first season as the full-time starter last year. Can they do it again? I like the addition of Josh Jacobs there with that Green Bay team. They have some question marks on that defense there. That'll be a very good game, and we've seen some fantastic matchups over the years between these two teams. Week 17, you go on the road to Chicago, and with this being the day after Christmas, you can pretty much anticipate that there's probably going to be some bad weather. It might be a snow game. Santa Claus might get stuck in Chicago with the weather conditions potentially going on there. But Chicago, great offense, got some great skill position players that they've surrounded Caleb Williams with bringing in Roma Dunze and Keenan Allen, among others. But that defense is cheeks. I think that the Seahawks offense is going to really have to come to play because this one could be a high-scoring affair. And then you wrap up the regular season facing the Rams again. We don't know the day and time of that game. Whole week 18 games are TBD. They'll either be on Saturday or Sunday, depending on playoff implications for the TV networks. But there's a very good chance that this game here could decide who's going to the postseason and who's going home, or could be a battle for playoff seeding potentially between these two teams. Very big game to end the regular season there with LA on rivalry week. So before we go, let's ask you one more time. What will be the Seahawks record in 2024? I got them at 10-7. What do you guys think? Weigh in and let us know. Thanks for joining us here on this edition of Seattle Seahawks Today. If you enjoyed today's show, like the video. We certainly would appreciate it. I'm Tyler Jones. We'll see you next time.